Heavenly Father, we gather together and come into agreement in the wonderful and powerful name of Jesus. Where two or more are gathered, there you'll be in the midst of us, and anything we agree upon as touching, you will surely do. The Bible says if there's any unforgiveness that it should be dealt with before praying. Therefore, we release any anger, bad feelings, resentment, or any other wrong attitude before you now. We lay it at your feet and we release and forgive those who have wronged us. Father, in Jesus' name, there's no distance in the Spirit, and we thank you for the listener who desires a prayer for concentration, focus, and clarity. Sometimes life and all that goes on can get us distracted. A fog can roll in and we find ourselves requiring a refreshing, reboot, Father, to help reestablish where we are and how to go from here to where you want us to go, Lord. In Jesus' name, we bind all the listeners' worries, concerns, cares, anxieties, any and all things, Father, blocking their concentration, focus, and clarity. We command them all to go now in Jesus' name. We wash the listener, Father, now in the blood of Jesus and speak freedom over them right now. We declare that they are light and free in Christ. They are free in Him. Father, fresh and new, we ask you for a complete understanding of what you want the listener to do in this moment of their life. We ask you to make them wise with spiritual wisdom. Grant them knowledge and understanding about how to use that knowledge, Father, so that they can move forward in victory. We bind a laser focus to the listener right now. We speak concentration through the power of the Holy Spirit to rest on them. We declare that clarity permeate every area of their life right now, Lord, that everything they need, Father, for greater awareness and insight. As a result of this fresh Holy Spirit dose of clarity, the way the listener lives, Father, will honor and please you, and they will continue to walk in the middle of your will for their life. All the while, Father, they will learn to get to know you better and to become more intimately acquainted with you, Father. The listener is rolling their works upon you, Lord, and you are making their thoughts agreeable to your will. Their plans are established and succeed in Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord, that you are directing their steps and making them sure because they are clear before their feet. In Jesus' name, we declare that the listener understands and firmly grasps what the will of the Lord is for them. In all that the listener requires concentration, focus, and clarity about, we declare that they are not vague, thoughtless, or foolish. Yes, they stand firm and mature in spiritual growth, convinced and fully assured in everything willed by you. We declare that the listener is focused. We declare that they are concentrated. We declare that, Father, they walk in clarity. They have the mind of Christ and hold the thoughts, feelings, and purposes of his heart. In Jesus' name, we enter into that blessed rest by adhering to, trusting, and relying on you to bring this all to pass in their life right now. Thank you that you have gifted them with this ability to see clearly. See their relationships, Father, their schooling, their career, their walk with you, anything and everything, Father, that you know they need to see more clearly in Jesus' name. We ask you, Father, to strengthen the listener with might, that they may be able to apply determination and commitment to walk in the direction that they required some clarity in. We praise you for the supernatural ability at their disposal, according to the power that's already at work in them through Christ, to move forward now that they have a better focus and ability to concentrate. Hallelujah. Thank you for clarity. Yes, they look to you to empower them as they press forward toward the finish line before them. We confess that the listener can do all things through Christ who empowers them. They finish what they start and they accomplish what they set their heart to do. They will move forward from this prayer, Father, with consistency, commitment, determination, and diligence. Yes, we believe that you have abundantly supplied the listener with concentration, focus, and clarity in Jesus' name. And Father, we thank you that these things will manifest themselves in their lives and they'll give you the glory for it. We believe and receive everything we have prayed and give you glory in advance, for this prayer is answered. In the wonderful and precious name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Yo, good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We've had a pretty interesting reaction, huh? Got a clear market maker sell model unfolding. I believe that it's pretty nice to see price get down to here if we could. DXY swept the lows in here. Very interesting. And we came back. So external to internal range. So if we can invert this on the dollar and then come back and hold it and then go higher, targeting these highs, this fair value gap is going to be my trigger. Assuming that this is just a retracement though, it should be relatively easy to see a continuation. But we'll see what happens. Right, 1, 2, 3 drives pattern into liquidity. Again, this is a potential market maker sell model, but we'll have to see because again, it's resting inside of this bullish order block. So if this thing just starts to go on a rampage and we invert this level, that may become an issue, right? For this to go lower. If it inverts this and respects it, again, we have highs up here. One thing that could promote that being the case is the fact that the yields are absolutely on a rampage. And again, this drop in here, look at the correlation, right? Got the bonds going lower, refusing to go higher. It's made the currencies retrace. We hit our target for the currencies. It's coming down a little bit. Still got this range for the euro. We have this range here for GBP, but we have this up candle as well. So the upper 25% needs to be respected if it's going to keep going higher. But if the dollar is going to turn and go higher and follow what the yields are doing, if this continues, then we'll see this thing look to take a nosedive somewhat. Good morning, Fancy. Good morning, you guys. Don't forget to like the video, by the way, guys. If you get value, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Should be an interesting session today. So again, if we got the yields continuing to go higher, if the dollar ends up rebounding from here, you notice how we took this low, but look at how we've closed above that low, or those lows, right? There's a couple of them. If you guys remember, when we have this type of delivery and it runs a stop and then closes in that range, like right above it in this case, we don't like to see that if it's going to continue. We would have much rather seen this thing close below the low, then try to come back. But because it didn't do that, again, we got to watch these levels in here just in case they look to invert, because if they invert, then this is going to be a stop run to then try to take this high that blew out these lows, right? So it could happen. So we'll see. I wanted to see at the start of this week for dollar to go up a little bit. We may get that lagged effect, right? It may still do it. But we'll see what happens, right? But if the dollar keeps going lower, obviously, these will continue to go higher. This will continue to go higher. But that's a really nice drop. If we go to the daily chart, I get a lay of the land real quick. We did take out the 20-day look back from August 1st. Let's go to the 1st of August. Oh, close to the 1st, right? The start of the August time. Cast back 20, cast back 40, and then 60, which would put you right here on this candle. And you could see that the liquidity that aligns with those different perspectives. And so we've been targeting the 20-day look back when we were over here, right, with this run higher. Talked about the market maker buy model, which has up to this point unfolded. We had accumulation turn distribution like we outlined real time before the fact as it was running up there, and you see how it respected it. We talked about all the different things that kept us favoring bullishness, even with the retracement, right? See how this came up to this high, didn't close above, and then closed well below. That led to a retracement into a discount array, right? Being the fair value gap, being the accumulation to distribution levels inside of the market maker buy model that we've seen unfold. And now we got this sell model happening. So we rallied up above the open price on Sunday, took out Friday's high. So Friday's high has been used as counterparty up to this point for smart money sell off. We had a baby market maker sell model in here that I talked about yesterday with my private group. And then we talked about this range too. If it was to break through this level, we now have some interesting price delivery to go off of. All right, so we have this. May turn to accumulation to distribution. Something to keep in mind right here too. I talk about this all the time. But look at this beautiful open regular trading hours gap that was not fully filled previously. You see how that doesn't have any price delivery down there? But when we go to the regular trading hours, you can clearly see it as a gap. So that's inefficient. And people that were only trading regular trading hours haven't had a chance to get in. So as ICT says, they act as magnets. And is that not happening right now? Is that not happening inside of the framework of a market maker sell model? Right? So again, everything comes back to market maker models and Power 3. And this is no different, right? Regular trading hours, gaps and how they're used, other gaps in price, other PD arrays, other types of concepts that ICT teaches. It all comes back to Power 3, okay, and market maker models. And you can see how this fits within the market maker sell model framework, okay? So just this alone has me believing that we're going to fill in the rest of this gap in here. This right here is a second stage distribution retracement because we're inside that second accumulation. Well, I guess there's only really one, right? So original origin, accumulation, smart money reversal, right? Price then reached through the midpoint of this. Look at the midpoint precision right there. Beautiful, isn't it? You know, must be random. Then you got this right here. So I think this was acting as a magnet. It was pretty solidly bullish, right, to begin the week. But it was too early, right? Sunday rallied up. We ended up taking Friday's high. A lot of times they do this type of stuff. Friday's high and Friday's low are very significant liquidity pools when you go into Sunday and Monday. Because look what it did. It took Friday's high and Friday's low. So you could frame a setup off of these. We framed this sell-off yesterday. Let's clean some of this up. Framed a bunch of setups, buys and sells inside of this. And again, if I'm lying, I encourage my private group students who were with me yesterday to come out and call me a liar. But it won't happen, right? Because this stuff's true. But yeah, so this breaker respected when it traded up into it. Created another breaker. This was a balanced price range. It was also a rejection block. If we move around, I could go show you what that looked like. There's the rejection block. Okay, equal bodies. Press traded up into it. Change state of delivery. We have consecutive up candles with a stutter candle here. That open price right there, drag that over. That's the more significant change in state of delivery, at least for me, right? This is a very common signature in here, the stutter candle. I talk about this a lot when I'm talking about changes in state. So if you're new here, something that you'll start to get familiar with. What's up, Axe? Appreciate you hopping on. But this looks like a flawless market maker sell model framework, right? Accumulation, origin. We have this wick down here, which I think could be a target if it does want to get real excited. So I can measure that out. We have accumulation, manipulation, distribution. If we break this low, we'll then look for rebalance and then the possibility of redelivery, trying to target the lower, deeper levels, especially if dollar was to invert this fair value gap. So for now, looks like we're looking to really come down and take out this low. So that's my objective for the moment. It's a clean market maker sell model. Right? So again, you do what you will with the information that I share with you. I'm not here to get you in trades. I'm not a financial advisor. And this ain't financial advice, but if stuff makes sense, it's worth investigating, right? And again, this is very clearly drawing into this. So up here, you could have seen this and looked at that. Anytime there's a regular trading hours gap, obviously, not everybody has my indicator that one of my students made for us, but you could just simply go to the regular trading hours, identify areas where it doesn't have buy side and sell side, or one side's offered, but the other side is not. Like if this was to blast through with only down candles in electronic trading, it's still inefficient to the buy side. So it's likely that they'll try to run back up into it to fill it out. Okay. So it's a very important topic, regular trading hours and how they're used. I teach it all the time. ICT has taught it, obviously. But yeah. So I see this as a market maker sell model. And we'll see what happens. If this was to get beyond this high to this low, right? Say this is where it started to retrace aggressively. If this range, if price was to get beyond the midpoint of that range, so from up here to here, you get that equilibrium price point. If this was to get above that, I would already be starting to frame out and anticipate second stage distribution from this upper premium level to then target continued buy side. And then of course you guys see the other regular trading hours gap that I showed, where that is present in the chart. That's inefficient. It doesn't have buy side and sell side. So it's a gap, right? A little piece of a gap up there. So that's what my draw was to start the week, to see how we can get up there, maybe take out the 40-day look back. Obviously it's had other thoughts and there's nothing wrong with that. This right here is actually the ICT Indigo model. It's a volume imbalance with an order block together that gets smashed through. It's also a change in state of delivery. We have stutter candles, consecutive up candles. If it breaks this low here, you should be able to anticipate if we are going to go lower that it's going to come up, not break this range at all, up to the midpoint. Maximum though, it wouldn't be able to break this, right? The high of that potential little range in there. It's also a low high, lower low, bearish breaker. Okay, so there's lots of things overlapping in this little area. So we'll see what happens, right? If we move up, let's continue to move up a little bit. Again, we do have this order block, but look at that. We have a 2-day change in state of delivery right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that leads to us getting down here, like I mentioned. And again, everything comes back to market maker models. You notice the very first thing I mentioned, essentially, was which model are we in? Market maker buy or sell model? And then think about power 3 as well. What's happened? Well, this is the open price. Price rallied up a little bit. We haven't had much manipulation at all. It's been pretty quick through London. So we may get some type of pullback, maybe coming back into this. You see that level there. Daily change in state of delivery. Move this over. Yeah, you guys have any questions? I wanted to get started a little bit earlier today. I know we don't got news till 6:30. We're not going to do anything until 6:30 in terms of engagement. Obviously, this is a reasonable idea to get us down to here. So again, you're going to do what you will with the information that I provide to you. I'm not here to get you in trades. I'm here to teach you how to find your own trades. And I think we do a pretty good job of doing that. So it's not everyone's cup of tea, but the tea tastes pretty good over here. So I'm not sure why, but that's how the world works, I guess, right? So yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys have any questions. Good morning, Jen. But yeah, so So that's essentially all I'm really looking at. If we come over here, let's go to the 3 indices real quick. Oh, wow. Yeah, we got all 3 of them falling. So if this Dow was going to go higher, it would have respected this up here. So it's really trying to reach into this previous market maker buy model that got traded through. So the upper 25% is what I would like to see it rest inside of. I wouldn't really want to see price go any deeper than this. Preferably it stops here, right at the low of this. It's a daily bullish fair value gap. Excuse me. But yeah. So we'll see what happens. If you guys have any questions, let me know. It is pre-market open. So again, we could take a trade. I could try to jump into a short in here. I do believe it's going to get down there. Could have got in up here. Already framed it out. Trusted that it's going to reach into that. But again, you either have rules or you don't. And if you don't have rules, this ain't an industry for you, unfortunately. But if you do have rules, it is a place for you. Yeah, so I'm assuming that everyone's locked in, which I hope that's the case. All right, don't be scared to ask questions. It's pretty much one of the only ways you're going to learn, right? Yeah, we talk about this stuff so much, so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys don't have any questions. It's the same stuff every day, right? Especially you guys in my private group. I mean, it's just the same stuff every day. It's pretty wild to see what we were able to do. But, you know, that's why this could turn into an actual career. And we're a lot less stressed out than the other people that trade normal retail concepts. I mean, we're retail traders, obviously. But the who, what, when, where, why, it can't be defined any better than what ICT provides. So shout out to him. Is that right there? Yeah, it's right there. Ooh, I like that right there. You guys see that? Yeah, look at this. Look at that. See how that lower part of the regular trading hours gap was not filled? What did they do? What did they do? They dropped for what reason? To come and balance that exactly to the tick. You see how reliable this is? And look over here. 615. Let me go see that real quick. That's 630 right there. Do got buy side and sell side. It's not as inefficient down there on that one. Now from this time frame, we definitely it looks definitely like there's an opening right there. So I think I'll Just put that there just in case. I like this target right there. If we do continue this drop, I really like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you guys aren't taking notes about when I talk about stuff like this, I mean, you know, if you're a signal junkie and you're just looking for signals, I'm going to frustrate the hell out of you. But at the same time, if you're someone trying to learn and these types of things are being shown to you that happen all the time, if you haven't wrote them down and like really dug into this idea or any of the other ideas like Power 3 and market maker models, if you're not doing everything you possibly can to get as much information on those as possible, or just simply watch what I'm doing because I teach them in depth, you're really doing yourself a disservice. There's a lot of new videos that are going to keep coming out. There's thousands of videos, thousands of people that are trying to teach. But again, most people don't know what they're talking about and they overcomplicate things. Okay, there's some complications here and there or complexities. But again, every single thing that you will ever do, this is not an overstatement, will always be able to be traced back to Power 3 or market maker buy and sell models. Every single concept ICT teaches, I'm sure, is inside this price leg right here. If not all of them, most of them. And I can get into every little detail, right? But they're all inside of this box we call a market maker buy or sell model and Power 3. Okay, whenever new students come to me and I teach them one-on-one, especially if they've come to me with all these random pieces everywhere with 500 different perspectives, and I learned from this person, that person, this concept, that concept, and they're just so confused with analysis paralysis. The first thing that they do is, first of all, 2022 model, right? That's a good baseline. But aside from that, which also is more important than that, is Power 3 and market maker buy and sell models, because everything else from that point can grow. Okay, it can fit. It's like the puzzle board is the market maker buy and sell model. Okay, and Power 3. All the other things, all the different components that lead to this or lead to that, fit inside of that box, right? That puzzle board. Right? Most people don't know this, and people be teaching and they don't highlight this. I don't know if it's because they don't know, or they do know and they're trying to hold back, which a lot of these people try to do, and they still suck at the end of the day, which is hilarious. You know, when you're here for a while, you can kind of see just by listening to someone for one session whether they know what they're doing or not. You know, you can give them grace and give them like a week, but most of the time you'll be able to quickly realize, especially spending time here, you know, a lot of these people don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? So again, there is this change in state of delivery, like I said. We do have dollar giving a pullback, so we'll see what that does. And we got this bullish order block in here. So it's not quite fully bearish. This is definitely something we got to keep tabs on. We do have a rejection block here. Okay. Let's be informed. Obviously, this is like a daily chart, right? There's a rejection block up there too, I highlighted. Well, I guess I didn't highlight that one. Yeah, you see how it ran up? Remember what I said a second ago when we first hopped on? When price takes out stops, even in this capacity, if it takes out stops and then immediately closes aggressively back below that high that it took, that's indicative of price wanting to retrace either to a PD array, a part of the range that's trading within, or it'll give you a complete and total reversal depending on the context, right? This is happening at a key level. What key level is that? The bearish order block. Okay, beautiful closure below the midpoint. Couple that with a rejection block being respected and the change in state, you know, this becomes a little bit more meaningful. And again, like we looked at over here, right? They're all dropping. Right? We do have SMT in here. We do have a rejection block in here. So again, we're just going to have to wait and see what this is going to do going closer to the open. There's no news today, so any engagements come after the 6:30 open. It's just the way it is. Again, you either have rules or you don't. If you don't like that rule, gonna have to eat it. Okay, it's just too bad. It's worth a study. Whenever there's no news, if you review your trades and you're taking losses before the 6:30 open, all you got to do to fix that, to be in better position for the bigger part of the move on the day and AM session, is to take trades after 6:30. Okay, don't force something that doesn't work, right? For you, at least for now, right? There's ways to trade pre-market open, but you got to practice it. There's ways to trade London too, and Asia, but you got to practice it. And again, all of it comes back to power 3. Every session has a power 3 in a market maker model. Every hour has a power 3. Okay, every hourly range, because there's hourly candles, right? There's an open, high, low, close, right? So there's a power 3 taking place, because that's just the way the candles print. Every day, obviously, there's a power 3 market maker model. Session, day, every week, every month, every quarter. What else? Every hour, like I said. And if it doesn't look like it's showing one, it's most likely working in one that's already unfolding. But more often than not, if you take like the hourly range and you drop down really far to the lower time frames, any 1 hour retracement to go lower is a sell model. Any retracement to go lower to go higher is a buy model. That's true for, again, all these different time frames. Just depends on what you're looking at. And the big narrative, the main objective, what price is going to do, where the waves are really pushing, and which direction is more likely to be targeted on that lower time frame, it's going to come from that higher time frame. If your trades do not have a higher time frame key level to key off of, and you're not trading within the actual higher time frame narrative from the daily and the weekly chart, if you're not doing these things or keeping these things intact when you're going to take a trade, or at least at the top of mind, you're going to struggle, right? If you want big moves, the only option is to go off that higher time frame. You have to trade off of a larger PD array, right? Like this, right? This run up into this high here. To be able to participate in this move, you have to wait, right? Price had a rejection block. We had a bearish order block. And then price broke down in here. So it's expected to get a reaction. Doesn't mean it's going to go this far, but you have the chance to capture something like this going this far. It's going to take a little while, right? It's like what, like a day and a half to get here? From London yesterday to London today. But you really just need this, right? Once it hits a PD array, there's a possibility of a response. Every PD array that it hits, there's a chance, there's a possibility, right? And depending on the context leading up to that PD array being tapped or liquidity pool being tapped, it's going to determine what the possibility is, right? How likely it is or how unlikely it is, right? So you got to have context. Part of that anchor to whatever context you're trying to build, whatever narrative and idea you're trying to engage in, it's going to come from that higher time frame. Guys hear that train? Oh, my window's open. But yeah. So again, do you guys have any questions? Still pre-market open, so I want to focus on making sure you guys are all in alignment. You guys are all good. I'm not here to just obviously, build my ego or nothing like that, but I'm really here to help you guys. So it's good for me to know where you guys are at, because what we do works. And those answers to any question you have, any battle or struggle you're going through, there's always a solution. Because I've had many issues, many struggles. Every single thing has had an answer. Some I came up with on my own, and some I got help with. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Do have this trend line liquidity in there. Do have this range from high to low. So that midpoint right there, if price just blows through it, you know, there is a bullish SMT. But when you have SMT, you got to couple that with what the dollar's doing, what the yields and the bonds are doing. Right? If the bonds are going lower, the yields are going higher. If that continues, and then we see the dollar go higher, how confident are you going to be in that bullish SMT? See? Context. You need context behind everything, even if there's SMT, especially if there's two SMTs taking place. Right? And I'm not saying that to say that this is for surely going to go lower at this point. We still got to wait and see. We do have a change in state, rejection block, order block, anchor, pushing price lower, clear potential draw on liquidity down here. So that's an argument. But again, there is SMT. So we got to watch what dollar's going to do. Dollar's, you know, coming off this low, it closed above it. So if this goes higher to try to take these equal highs out, whoops, then that's going to send this lower and support the possible narrative that I just gave you. All right, so I do want to see if this can get us down into this level, or at least fill in the rest of this. Clean up some of this. We don't really need that. Well, I would say equal highs up there. So we'll see what happens. Man, I'm being blown up right now. People know I'm live. Like, it's nuts. Let's hop on the live call. So yeah, there's not really much more that I have in terms of context. We're just gonna have to now wait and see what happens. And again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. So one really important thing that I've been taught over the years, not only by ICT, but you know, from my other mentors, it's relating to the higher time frame key levels when it comes to framing a setup. The 15-minute chart is a very special chart because it's kind of like the mid time frame, I guess. I'm not sure why that is, but it's just the way it is. You can do all types of trading just off this 15-minute chart. You could swing trade, day trade, scalp, right? Like you can do all the different things that you're able to do as a trader just from this time frame. Obviously, you want context with the other time frames and whatnot. Yo, what's up, Silent? Appreciate you hopping on. Let me see. Futures Ninja, I hit you up in the free group. If you can go do the verification, I'm very strict with the verification because of spammers and scumbags, right? And I pretty much go in every week, and whoever's not verified or doesn't simply go push that button to verify, they get kicked. I mass kick people because they don't want to do that very simple thing. So that goes for everybody. So if you can go do that, I want you to be able to stay part of the community. I'm obviously not going to kick you out because we've already had conversations. But if you could do that, I'd appreciate it. But Yeah, anyone else that is in the free group that hasn't verified, please go do that. It's my burner account. Keep that profile. I joined the regular one. No, it's so here, right? This is what I mean, right here. That one right there. You saying to kick that one? Just want to make sure. I got it joined after. Oh, this one right here. Okay. All right. Oh no. Appreciate you letting me know. It's unfortunate that I gotta do it this way, but people come in and if you've been here for a while, or you just simply have been in other communities, anyone that's doing something they're worth listening to, people try to come in and cannibalize their audience. And I don't want any of you guys to be hurt. I know I've had a couple people get hurt because people come out and DM them and try to use my name, but put a period at the end. I don't have any special characters in any of my usernames. So, and I don't trade your assets. I'm not going to trade your money. The only money that I trade is mine and prop firms, which is technically not even real money. It's just a demo account that you can get paid on. So I'm not going to trade your crypto. I talk about crypto, but I'm not going to trade your crypto. I'm not going to tell you to give me money to invest your crypto. It's kind of common sense, right? Don't just trust anybody. But I got to say it because, you know, it is what it is. For whatever reason, people are gullible enough to fall for the things that these spammers do. That's why they keep doing it. That's why they won't stop, because people are, you know, sometimes uninformed. And they're like, oh yeah, I want the easy way out. He's going to trade it for me? Yeah, sure. Here's $10,000. I don't know who you are. Never had really even a conversation with you, but here, take my $10,000. Go make me $1 million in a week, like you're claiming. And then that money's gone. They get blocked. And then then another one hits them up, and then they do it again. I mean, it's nuts. Some of the stories that I've heard, it's like, really? But yeah, so don't be gullible. Right? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But what we do here could possibly sound too good to be true, but I prove it every day. So there's proof behind what we say. So, good morning, Fotis. Appreciate you hopping on. Good morning, everybody that's just hopped on. That's right, with the easy way. Do not care about the money. Yeah, it's definitely the right way to do it, but it's much easier said than done. Not care about the money. Because a lot of people start trading from a place of lack. They hate their life. They want to get out of their job. Trying to be rich. They want to do all these things, buy a Lambo, do this, do that. So the pull obviously is to make money, but you got to have a passion for it. You know, the process is what brings you money. If you focus on the money before mastering the process, the money gets pushed farther and farther away until you realign. Just focus on building the skill, building the mindset. Yep. I think the skill and the mindset they got to be worked on together for sure. See, are you streaming into the open? Yeah, no, we're trading into the open. Every Tuesday, I keep that for you guys. Every other day, obviously, is with my private group, but I give you guys Sunday and Monday. This advice. Yeah, silent. I agree, bro. I wish I would have done. I wish I would have had the mindset I have today. When I first started, I would have saved tens of thousands of dollars. Oh man, it's unfortunate that we're stubborn. You know what I mean? the marketing is really, really good when it comes to trading. Like, they make it sound so easy. It's going to be the hardest thing you'll ever try to accomplish. Even though we're able to have clarity and I have very powerful weapons, I teach it fairly simply, and you could see me do it fairly simply. It takes a lot of hardship to get to a point where you're just like unmoved by losing and some of the normal things, because it's weaponizing your psychology against you, your goals, dreams, aspirations, everything that you want to do in trading and why you started. It's going to constantly tug at you to do more, to break the rules, that you'll be the exception. It should be easy. It will be easy, just not right away. Right? And I'm sure a lot of the goals you guys have right now, you're probably thinking too small. You may think it's thinking really big, whatever your goals are, but you need to understand we're in an unlimited environment. Once you master the skill, get the right mindset, get experience using the right things, I mean, it's unbeatable. It's unmatched. The freedom, the amount of money, you can make whatever you want to make. But you have to be the person that can accept that and operate that vehicle to wealth in an effective way. And the person that we are at the very start is generally not the same person that we're going to be when we, end up arriving. I know I'm completely different. I'm a totally different person. Totally different person from when I first started. When I first started trading, I was an absolute mess. Like, if I go back and I put me now versus like with me back then and they were having a conversation, they wouldn't even recognize that they're the same person. It's just unrecognizable. Everyone in my life says the same thing. And it's because of trading. I was forced to change. Or, stay stuck in where I was. And that was not an option. I had a kid on the way. Pretty much had my back against the wall. So, let me see. And I want to say thank you. Really hope you love by your videos. We talked. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad. Myself build consistency, accept losses. When good risk management. Hey, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. See, this type of experience that you've just graciously shared with everyone between our interactions and the value you've gotten, this is why I do this. I don't do this for myself. If it was for myself, I would just be out living my life. I could probably think of other things that are more entertaining, more fun, but honestly, not really. I have a passion for this. I know how hard this can be, but I also know how good this can be for your life if you do it properly. And all you need is the right mindset, the right guidance, the right concepts, which, for me, maybe it's different for other people, but for me, ICT is where I found my success. I want to know the who, what, when, where, why. I'm a very thorough person, and I can't have randomness dictate what my success is going to be. If it's random and things are random, your success is going to be random. And how are you going to have peace in your mind and go full time if that's what you plan on doing, if everything's random? Can you imagine? People do it, obviously, but it's not as random as they think. They've gotten familiar with certain patterns and ways of looking at price, and they manage their risk. Most people don't have a win rate that's above 50%. We have high 80s, which I've showcased, right? I did a whole funded account case study for 4 months, showed everything about it. And the equity curve was just beautifully rising. Had one little string of moments where I was pushing too hard and overtraded, which I was transparent about. But nonetheless, that's out here for everyone to look at. And nothing changes just because it's a new day. Let's see, do I have that? No, we got time. Let me look. Look and see if I can find it. Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. For those that may be new, right, this is when I did a Top Step account, 86% win rate. Start was in March. It was about 2 months of data. Then I went and continued and then finished it off. But all throughout, this whole process, let me actually forward that real quick. Don't know why it's so hard to find in the free group. Oh, what the hell? Where did it go? But yeah, what we do here is spectacular. And honestly, you don't even have to do 86%. We just call the market effectively, and I've learned. I've absolutely learned more than I ever thought I would. And I have a lot of wisdom from a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but a couple of people, ICT and 2 other people in particular, who I'm very grateful to have been able to cross paths with and work pretty closely with. One of which I've shown, named Joe Miller. He trades other people's money professionally. So he's a asset manager. I mean, he makes millions of dollars. Yet he, for a really heavy price, opened his doors and was willing to work with me when I was at a very low part in my trading within the first 2 years. And just seeing what's possible through people like that who are able to prove it. Not many people that are that big teach, right? Like they don't end up being public like that. I've shown Joe Miller is definitely the one that got me to be as good as I am on the higher time frames, to understand the fractal nature and price at the level that I do. I had another mentor that taught me deeply about market maker models. And then, of course, there's ICT, right? With all the other areas related to this and what we do. So there's an all-around amount of information that's just highly effective that I'm just, for the most part, being very open with. Because I know how hard it was. I couldn't afford what I was going through, what I had to invest. Went into debt, lost tens of thousands of dollars being stupid. As many times I could have quit. And it probably would have been the responsible decision at the moment, because I had a kid coming, like I didn't have money to lose. Lost my job. But, I think all of that was for a purpose. I wouldn't be who I am today as a trader if I didn't go through those things. See what I was doing wrong, see what's unacceptable, what is acceptable. Yeah, let me see. Yes, I'm telling everyone. I wouldn't say a godfather. I wouldn't say a godfather. But I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if it's the same opinion as me. I appreciate you saying that, Silent. Sincerely, bro. I appreciate the kind words. I'm trying to do my best to give back, you know what I mean? Be a good person. Try to help people think about things more responsibly. And more importantly, know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to struggle at first. even learning from me or anyone else. You know, I'm one of the few mentors that really is willing to meet traders where they're at instead of just giving them content to watch. Right? Like I give the opportunity of being able to work really closely. And so I can meet you where you're at. Just even being part of my private group as a tier 1 student, you know, that doesn't have one-on-ones. We're live every single day as a group. You know, there's always that option for more help. I can't do 3 hours with, you know, 100 plus people every week, every single day. I have one-on-ones every single day, 2 or 3, depending on, you know, students that cancel or not. And they go for 3 hours long every single day. I spend a lot of time pouring into others aside from just YouTube. You know, I've had over 200 students that I've worked with. So it's a lot of work. I quickly figured out why people don't do it, because it's hard. You know, it's very difficult to work with a lot of different perspectives and sincerely try to get them to start making progress, because you got to battle their personal problems. You got to battle their personal flaws, their impatience. You got to work them out of things and build their mindset while you're helping with the skill set. And you have to ensure that they're also doing their part, because if they don't do their part, it doesn't matter what I do or what anyone else does. So it's very difficult, because I'm actually trying to get people to succeed, or at least help them so they can do it on their own. But that's why most people don't do it. You know, they don't offer one-on-ones. They don't offer, you know, everyday live calls where everyone can unmute and actually like engage, where every question is meaningful, even, no matter how basic it is. There's not many communities that are like that. And, you know, I made sure that when I started a community that was going to be the vibe, or I'm not going to do it. Definitely became a lot more than I thought it was going to be, though. But hey, it's the way it is. But messages like you shared, silence is why I do this and why it's not really an issue to me. I wouldn't be more happy doing anything else, even trading on its own. You know, it makes me happy, obviously. I love what I do, but you know, there's just something about helping someone in the way that trading can. It's unlike anything else. Especially when you didn't think for your whole life that you had really anything that you'd be able to pass in terms of value, like down to other people or your family. I didn't think I had anything. And then trading came in and boom. It's got me closer to God. It's done so much stuff. So I couldn't be more grateful. Oh, look at our reviews. How many people in the Discord and community? I appreciate you, Silent. I appreciate you, bro. Yo, good morning, Emmanuel. Definitely agree. Can't wait. I want you to make you proud, more so than me or anyone else. I want you to be proud of you. Right? Got to keep that the focus, right? Yeah, it's looking like it wants to take London low. Yeah, we'll see what happens. See what's happening with London low. Price has already taken this out. So we took out previous day's low, or previous week's low. Previous week's low, I had this marked off too. So we took those out. So yeah, we got buy side and sell side for ES. Okay, we're getting close to the open, so we'll focus in now. We got a completed market maker sell model. Remember what I said about the gaps, right? Wide open gap, price traded right into it. Right, wide open lower part of the gap for the regular trading hours. It acted as a magnet. Look how magnetic that is. It goes right to it. Let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, there's some down here too. So this here is also inefficient. 630 is right there. So basically from that point, this is a whole regular trading hours gap that could end up becoming a target later on. So we're going to keep tabs on that for ES. It's going to be pretty interesting if we can get it to go down there, right? But yeah, we got Nasdaq blowing these inefficiencies out the water. But yeah, my main objective for right now is going to be this one right here. We'll see if we can't get that to go down there. Let's take it to the 1 hour chart. See what we got going on here. But yeah, if you guys get value from what it is we do here, don't forget to like the video, you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Helps me get in front of more people just like you. And helps me complete my mission, you know, of passing this forward. You know, being a resource for those that may need this type of clarity, both in mindset and in trading as well. And they get to be part of this with you guys too. So it's a blessing for them to be part of a community with someone that knows what they're talking about in such an amazing community of some really, really great people. You know, everybody's got the same motivations, essentially, same goals, similar goals, but we're all headed for the same thing. We're all reaching for that same thing, you know, with some little nuances here and there. Even getting the credit with Tradify. Yeah, for sure. I think so. I haven't checked it in a while. I wouldn't doubt it though. I appreciate you doing that, Emmanuel. I know it will be if you were to. It's a byproduct. Yeah. Yeah. Success breeds success, you know, proximity to greatness, you know, it definitely leads to, you know, greatness spreading. It's very contagious. The same thing's true with negativity though, and the wrong advice, you know, bad environments, people that don't know what they're talking about, that spreads to you as well. So you got to be careful. You're either going to get the virus of success, greatness, positivity, or an actual virus that's going to destroy your whole life, you know, make you negative, fail, all these different things. And of course, I can never guarantee results, and I'm not a financial advisor. But, you know, this stuff works. So if you just take the time to do it correctly over time, the only option is to improve, you know. So yeah, trading will humble and make your life good. Take a real, like most things. Slow down. Yeah, I agree. Silent. I agree, brother. So yeah, we still got this thing going lower in here. So we got buy side, sell side. We do have relative equal highs here, but look at the wick with displacement. You guys know that I talk about this all the time. A wick with displacement following it, it's going to be a balanced price range. That's not only significant because of that, but we have the accumulation that we talked about in the market maker sell model, right? So again, we do have that discrepancy there. So we definitely got to keep tabs on it. My freaking foot hurts a lot today. I don't, ugh. Freaking broke my toe. What a mess. It's another reason trading's amazing though, right? Something that a normal job doesn't offer. If you break something or you're sick, you got to most likely go in. Maybe you took a vacation, exhausted all your hours, probably your PTO. You have unlimited PTO here. Comes with a cost though, obviously. But you know, I think it's worth it. Okay, it just goes back to the fact that the freedoms we get as traders is unlike anything else. So yeah, we do got this run higher to lower to sell model for ES. We already blew this low out. So we just got to be cautious. We do have a gap down here. So 630 is incoming. So we'll have to just wait and see what this is going to do here. Yeah, again, looks like it's going to keep going lower like we assumed it would. Dollar looks like it's pulling back a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, on the daily, we're inside that little area in there, so we gotta pay close attention to that. So we'll see what it wants to do. Again, there's no news. We don't take trades right at the open. We just don't do it. Again, you either have rules or you don't. Could I have taken this trade that I talked about, right? The fact that it was going to drop and fill this in. We could take a trade at in any hour. We could find something to do every hour. Because again, everything comes back to power 3, right? But does that mean you should do that? No. I don't think so. Can you? Sure. Have I done it before? Sure. But it's more than is required. You need 1 to 2 good trade setups, preferably one, right, that you framed out and has a lot of context. And that's it. Deal with that. And then move to the sideline. Come back the next day. If you take a loss, then you take another trade and it's a loss, you get out of there. Come back the next day. Let it relax. Because over trading and over leveraging will throw off any plans you may have. The numbers won't be able to work themselves out if you don't let them work themselves out. So if you have like a profitable edge, if you try to push it too hard, you may dull the edge and the numbers just won't help. Can you share with us anything you felt helped you improve your mindset? So actually on my Instagram, I have books, a book list. If you go look at some of my highlights, I think I have them there still. There's like the Mental Edge in Trading, the Mental Game of Trading. Those are 2 different books. One is by Larry Williams' son, who's a psychologist who focuses on traders. It's probably one of the best books I ever read. The Mental Game of Trading too, or Mental Edge or Game. I forgot which one is named which. But one's by Jared Tindler, one's by Larry Williams' son. Jared Tindler is a professional poker player who turned trading psychologist, I believe. I believe that's his story. It's wild, the correlation between like gambling professionally and traders. Even though we're not gambling, there's still ways to stack the odds in your favor by building context. Just like how a poker player gets cards, and given the fact that there's a set amount of cards, when they look at the duo that they got, right, whatever the hand is, they could determine what the probability is of, that hand being a good thing to push with or to fold, because there's calculable probabilities. It's the same thing in trading. You just have to understand what builds those probabilities and what goes against it. So yeah, just like we assumed price was going to do, it's going lower. Again, hopefully the context that we've talked about makes sense to you. Trump, no talks or conversations going on. Yeah, of course. Essentially, when there's no news and Trump's going to talk or say or tweet something, that's basically our news, right? It's pretty funny. Yeah, so this thing dropped. Again, this is a 15-minute chart. So we got those equal lows here. I'd like to see if we can get down to there. Again, I'm just going to be waiting. I'm not going to push too aggressively today or this week, to be honest. We're not going to be aggressive. Let's see. I did take a trade last hour yesterday. Whoa. Oh, desk just shook. Whoops. Why is it so wobbly? That's concerning. I'm crazy, but you kind of helped my setup to start showing. Yeah. Volatility is good. Volatility is good for sure. I like the environment that's brought on by Trump. It's very wild, but that's so much opportunity. It's a lot of chaos, somewhat, right? To say the least, but hey, we got crazy gains in the stock market long term, crazy volatility on like a daily basis, which I want more of. Give us more wild swings. Tweet more. Say more stuff. Because we have not had very hard of a time this year. Every single day in my private group, every single week. Like there hasn't been one moment, at least for a long extended period of time, where we didn't know what price was going to do. Again, it's all recorded. Everything's recorded, documented. It's every single week. You know? You notice how I'm not concerned about the fact that 630 just came in. It looks like it's moving. You notice how I'm not concerned? Because we have a macro. Our trades come at a time. Can there be an earlier moment where something shows up and we may miss it? Sure. But I know every single day at 6:50 to 7:10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then 7:50 to 8:10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, there will always be something. And if I see one that begins and I miss it, all throughout that hour, the 6:50 to 7:10, that 7 o'clock time is a silver bullet window. So there's a move that takes place midway through as well. And you can get real close to understanding how to re-enter or catch that continuation when you understand power 3. Not only from the daily, if you have your draw on liquidity on the higher time frame, you could trade towards that direction. But you can also, if you see the macro set something up and you miss it, as long as it starts in the macro, or maybe there's a PD array that forms and then midway through the hour it comes back to that PD array that was made within that macro time, you can engage that as well. But every single hour there's something to do. Right? I gave a setup in here that I could have engaged, or you could have engaged, right? Not because of me, but because you think things make sense and you make that decision on your own. But there's something that could have been engaged there, and it went right to my target that I outlined. To the tick. Look at that. A little bit over, right? But there was enough time to be able to consider that and reason with it. So that's just a good example. Now, when you know what you're looking for in price and how things operate, you could trade at any moment. Not that you should, right? That's not me saying, yeah, to go trade every session because you can. You know, it's doing too much, right? You'll determine how much you're going to trade probably later on. But at first, you got to burn discipline into your head and show yourself how important that is. And you only get to that point and get benefits from that if you follow rules by force, especially if you're struggling, over trading, over leveraging, not having clarity. It's better to get used to one session, one model, than it is to get familiar with all different types of models in every single session without mastering a single one, being like okay, or not really that great at any one session, but you have all these concepts. You might as well be a specialist in one session with one asset with one entry method, and then you just do the overall analysis the way that we always talk about. So you see how London was very quick? I want to point this out. So London was very, very quick. Asia was very, very quick. We got all the way down, obviously, to look to target this. We've now tapped this, so I wouldn't be very surprised if they do try to pull it against this run. Even if they are going to try to go lower, because London was so fast, Asia was so fast, when AM session comes, it's very, very tricky to try to get in line with the continuation before something like this happens. Maybe it runs up into this. You know, why is that the case? Because previously we've been dropping. So what's everybody thinking when they turn on the chart at 6:30 open? Oh my gosh, I missed something. Let me go in and chase it. And then what happens? This. So we actually have a breaker right here. So this right here is a breaker. I'd be a bit cautious, but then again, I'd watch that as well. I'd be looking at that. We got relative equal highs up here. Look how beautiful that looks. I showed up a little bit late to the party. I would have taken that if I would have seen it quicker. Let's see, could we get one more little revisit? Can we get a little revisit in there? Yeah, just a little tap in there would be nice. There it is. So we'll see what it wants to do in here. See if we can't simply get it to target these equal highs up here. So we got buy side, sell side, buy side again. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution, rebalance phase, should be able to get redelivery, at least to try to target these upper levels up here. We're really close to the 630 still, just 10 minutes out. We're not in the macro yet, so that could become problematic a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if, in order for this to drop again, we're going to have to get the buy side to be targeted up there. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, this is also coupled with that bullish SMT that was pointed out by Futures Ninja earlier. So that may become something worthwhile. Now, if this ends up breaking through these levels down here, like from this high to that low, 50%, if we get through that, this right here could be looked at as a market maker sell model, second stage distribution. So we got the Dow, looks pretty nasty to the buy side. It's got trendline liquidity. So we're getting that pretty solid retracement here. See if this can invert this fair value gap. See a pretty deep retracement right there. Still waiting for a minute. I don't like how aggressive that turned. Now, if we would have got above this, that would have been a trigger for me. So let's see if this breaker is going to hold in here. Not sure if that little shallow run is going to be enough for them. I would like to see them get a little more exaggerated up there. Looks like they may melt right in here, so let's keep attention on this. Again, if this level here gets taken out, then that'll be something to watch for accumulation to distribution, small market maker sell model. Let's see, what's the dollar doing? Yeah, dollar's going lower. So it's unfortunate that that didn't hold. That would have been a really nice setup. Just wanted to see it tap it and then invert this. And then that would have been something I would have swung heavy on that one. Yeah, this is pretty nasty. Buy side, sell side, buy side, right? Both sides again. Now we just took this out, so we got to watch this. And again, we still have this market maker sell model that could unfold still. Breaker. So if it's going to go lower, it's going to go lower from here. We're inside a macro. We're at that lower end of the regular trading hours gap that it filled. But now we're inside of this accumulation to possible distribution. They may bounce around back and forth. Ugh, look how gross that is. Let's see what it wants to do here. Again, I would like to see if we can target this. Looks like it could be a nice idea in there. Get us down into there. So market maker sell model. More shallow buy side raid than I thought it was going to be. I thought they would be able to at least get up into those equal highs up here. It's very obvious. They could get back up there at some point. Like if they fail to take out this low, we may be able to watch that unfold. So let's see what happens here. Got this little wick in here. If we get a little bit deeper into this, what time frame is that? It's 3 minute. We have a bearish breaker in here. If it gets below this and closes below, that's a rejection block. We got to be careful with that. Careful with that. We want to see it go through it, show no respect to it. If this thing displaces and breaks this fair value gap again, that could end up being a problem to go short. That would turn to an inversion off of a rejection block. And my attention would go up to the midpoint of this regular trading hours gap. So let's watch and see what it does here. The dollar again is in a retracement that's now declining. So if the dollar is going to decline, again, that should translate to this going higher at some point. But for now, until it proves it wants to do that, I got my eyes on this and this low down here. Got a fair value gap in there too. So we'll see what happens. Going into the macro now. So we're either going to accelerate going lower, or we're going to quickly know that this is not going to want to go short. I'm going to keep my attention down at this low. We got a breaker. We got buy side, sell side. Let's see what it wants to do here. Oof, got a crack in correlation. That's not ideal. Yeah, that heavy crack in correlation is not the greatest thing to see. Which one's lying, right? So yeah, that real reluctance to want to go lower, it's definitely something of concern for this to be an idea to get down below those lows. That rejection block is holding in price right here. Something that we can't discount. Yeah, we got the Dow aggressively moving higher. So again, those equal highs up there are definitely something that is on my radar. If this was to fail and start to really get up, and I need this fair value gap here to be taken out for me to get away from this likely going lower. None of that is being put on display yet. We'll see what happens if we can get down below this. That rejection block has failed, so again, it's confidence boosting to go lower. So if we go to, what is that, the 15-second? Yeah. Go to the 15-second chart, we can start to see a little more details. We got a bearish breaker here. Respecting that accumulation to distribution. Got a bearish breaker, 2022 model, run above the stops, PD array, fair value gap. We got this low down here. We got this one down here too. So we'll see. Again, there is that SMT that could cause a problem. But so far, it's not quite going against that just yet. So until things start to change, you know, we stick to what our opinion is. Yeah, look at that. Pretty strong decline in there. See what happens. Once this low is broken, becomes a breaker to go lower as well. Low, high, lower, low. It's pretty sloppy in here. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, look at that. Look at the Dow. Dow just came up, took those stops. So we're going to see what happens. Do got the dollar going up a little bit. Again, nothing has changed the opinion yet for price to not go lower. Right? Price is it looks like it's going lower. Very close target. It's very reasonable to look to purge that. Now, what happens after it takes this, we got to be cautious because we do still have that bullish SMT. See what happens. Nothing's changed. It's all respecting the wicks, order blocks, lower 25%. The closures are getting below. Got this low really, really nicely in the crosshairs. I just really don't like the correlation, what it looks like. Let's see how much deeper it can get into that low. Thinking we get a slide. Mind you, like I said, the macro is coming out, so it's going to have to make a choice. So again, how it delivers at this low is going to be important. See, I did take that. I took one buy to get us up above the highs. It came out and stopped me out off that breaker. And then I did actually just take this short, so I'll show you in a minute. The short right there. Getting out at that low right there. Positive about 30-ish points. Okay. Just show you guys real quick. All right, amp live. You can see I engaged right at the breaker. Got out on this candle. It tagged me out at 36-ish points. 36 3/4. Then I engaged this one. Looking to take this out. Targeted all the way down to the low. It's about 70 points. So positive about 30. So that's my two trades. I lost one and won one. So I'm now afforded the ability to take another one if I do find something that looks nice. Yeah, it's called trading with rules, right? Not being shook by getting it wrong for a minute. I would take this trade every time. The breaker, I would take that every time. One thing that would have kept me from this is seeing that we're not in the macro yet. So technically this one, I broke my rules, which obviously I probably shouldn't have done that. I definitely shouldn't have done that. But, you know, can't be perfect, right? It is what it is. You know, I'm human too. Yeah, we got this drop coming right here. We got that bullish SMT with dollar getting weak. If this continues, this becomes a little bit more significant. So this right here, if you look at that, this candle, that's called a propulsion block. So if we get above this candle here, when it comes back, we do not expect the midpoint to be targeted. And this is coupled with the equal highs up there that we talked about a second ago. Right there, that's a propulsion block. So that's really, really nice. It should accelerate if that's what's gonna get respected. So see what happens in here. Again, I do like these lows. But if dollar is going to start going lower and the Dow is going to keep exploding, Right? Clearly the Nasdaq is the weak one out of the three. I actually have another SMT in here too, right here at these lows. And dollar's going lower, so things do support this giving somewhat of a bounce to the upside. It's a little bit more risky to take a short in here now, although we do have a breaker here. So that conflict with the SMT and the intermarket relationships, it's definitely something to give you pause. So again, this is a propulsion block. So if this is going to be a valid propulsion block, that right there should not happen. So it's less likely that this is going to hold now as a propulsion block. It's basically invalidated it, especially if this closes below. Now, if it wicks and we end up back above the midpoint, it still has a chance. Right? Not the greatest idea that we'd like to see, but we still got this breaker. The dollar dropping makes me not too excited to want to engage this. Plus the indices or the other ones are going higher. At least the Dow is. Go here. It's a breaker there. Oh, we got a rejection block there too. See this? Now, what would be really nice is if they were to wick down into that and then break above this high with the SMT still intact, with the dollar going lower. That would be a beautiful scenario for us to then try to take these out. These have my attention. This is too clean. Think about it. If they ran it up there, does that upset the market maker sell model? Not necessarily, right? This bigger one. So even if they were to run it up there, take these equal highs out, it's not gonna. It wouldn't upset the overall trend if they are going to go lower. And then, but if it gets up here, obviously, we'll have to consider being back in line with the bullishness. Yeah, look at that, beautiful, beautiful expansion right there. Let's see what this leads to. It's definitely a sharp retracement back into this range. Again, I like these equal highs up here. What a beautiful move. Oh, I love this. I just love doing this. Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I can't imagine me doing anything else at this point. It's just amazing. Ay. See, I was able to engage that. Knock down another 43 points. So now we're up 70 with an initial starting loss of 36. Made that back in one trade. And then, because I had a win and a loss, I give myself one more opportunity. Then I just ended up taking this one. Low, high, failure swing, mitigation block, re-entry. Or you could look at this high, low, higher high, stop run as a breaker. Oh, well, this is just amazing. And here's the proof of that as well. Amp Live. Took a buy in here, lost that one. 36-point loss like I showed you earlier. That short all the way down to there was about 70 points. So doubled the initial loss. And now this one entered right at the high here. Took profit right up here. Right at 40 points. Just to put cherry on top, right? Buys and sells. I could buy and sell in any environment. I'd more so, you know, if we're looking at the larger perspective, I'd really like to see this get down to here. But again, we can't forget that the daily chart is bullish, right? Daily chart here is bullish. At least for now, this is definitely something that makes you question. So we got to see how this is treated. But overall, you know, we may be in a change, but the intraday stuff that's taking place, you know, you could still frame out smaller ranges and navigate intraday volatility, session liquidity. Yeah, look at that. I see what 20 to 30 points can do. Came all the way back. So that's a differentiator. Me being okay with scalps, 20 to 30 points, right? Knowing that, you know, it's somewhat of a risk with dollar going lower, maybe even the dollar stalling out here and then bouncing higher. It's kind of questionable, the dollar. But taking that 20 to 30 points is all you need, right? I've obviously taken down 40. This one I took down 70. But if you start with 20 to 30 points, 20 to 30 point risk, 20 to 30 point target, and you can get comfortable with that given how many ideas we're able to spot in a day, the velocity is what can allow for 20 to 30 points to be scalable. And you could scale it. You could start with one contract. Once you get better, you can put it to 2 or 3, right? Or more. And then eventually you'll get to minis, and think about it, 20, 30 points in a mini, and that's a reasonable amount of money per day in one trade. Right? It's not demanding too much. You can be part of these types of moves and be successful. But if I take another trade after this and it ends up in a loss, you know, it kind of shows you how overtrading can stop you. Yeah, I could want more. Yeah, I can try to come out here and make $10,000 today. You know, I could try to do this and do that because I want this or want that. But base hits over time, stacked together, is what's going to get you success. All right. So again, hopefully this stuff makes sense. This reaction was very quick, obviously, but we had a low, stop run, shift in market structure, change in state of delivery, inversion fair value gap. Those of you in my private group, got this down candle here. Once it breaks above that, that's our razor model. Okay. Or it could be above the upper part here. It's also bullish power 3, consolidation, manipulation, distribution, rebalance, redelivery. So you can see all the different perspectives that allow me to get in line with something like this. Why I was able to pull the trigger on that. And you know, this simply targeted this. And it came back. Oh no. Whoops. Let me go check the chat. See what you guys said. Disrespected the top 20 of the daily volume imbalance. Like the low is in for now. So the daily volume imbalance. Oh, you're talking about that? Is that the one you're talking about right there? I didn't quite get to it. It may have if you're looking at like the mini contract. So that little discrepancy is not too crazy. So it looks like we may in fact get down to our level down here that we've been wanting to see price get to. We may actually get our level. It's an entry, but still one more setup looking for a retest. The funny thing lately when I start impatient analyzing. Yeah, I agree. I've been having issues with my freaking right eye. I'm grateful that today hasn't caused that. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so now we got this delivery. You see the wick came up, this order block held. So I do believe that our initial target that we've had outlined, I do believe we could get down there. We're hitting a new day opening gap, so you gotta be careful. It's an opposing PD array. We may get another retracement from here. So yeah, today we've been ready for literally anything. Look, you see this wick, 50%, beautifully respected that. Okay, we got another wick here. So we had a little market maker sell model in here. The origin of the retracement, stop run. I guess they're gonna leave those equal highs. I'm kind of surprised they left that. It's interesting that they left that. I would have expected them to try to wick up there at least, take that, because that's where most of the London liquidity is at least up to this point. Then look to go lower, but they decided, you know, it's too weak. That's what this tells me. It's overwhelmingly unwilling to want to go. And you notice this light yellow box. That's our regular trading hours gap. We can't even get to the midpoint. So what does that tell us? It's bearish for the day, at least for now, until proven otherwise. Stopped out those equal highs, took out those stops. So lots of stops have been taken except for this up here. I'm not going to be surprised if this low to that high gets respected on that lower 25%. So lower 25% to 50%, it could come back into that. Notice how I said we hit this new day opening gap, so watch for a potential retracement. Again, it's a retracement, but when it breaks through it again, it should be a gripping point to continue to support bearish order flow as we get to the low down here. I want you to notice something too. This is a low that took the highs up here. So this low that took the highs, once we hit a key level being the bearish order block, has now become a target because retail thinks higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? That's what they think is the main culprit. We have a small power of 3 happening in here, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. We're in rebalance phase. But this low that took the high right there is significant. You can see that it created a market maker sell model. Retail stops are down below these lows. So we have accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Hopefully we can just get a rebalance here, very shallow, and the redelivery, pushing us even lower. It's coupled with this new day opening gap, so I think that that is reasonable. So let's see what happens. Yeah, right, man. Retest wasn't enough, as you said. Equal highs, but yeah, I mean, when it does leave stuff available like that, it just, you know, it's something that tells you that it's exceedingly one-sided, and this has been, you know, kind of a mess, right? But it's offered opportunity in there. This in here, the short getting us down into that, like I pointed out earlier, the one that I took, it's beautiful. Look at this. Here we go again. Another thing we pointed out. Let's see if we can get follow through on this. Yeah, look at how nasty the correlation is. It barely looks similar at all. So I'd study this. Watch how it does that. And identify the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. That little piece, that little fractal in there. So if it's exceedingly bearish, I would have liked to see this thing accelerate. If it is going to keep going lower, we do not want to see this range get traded beyond. Like I said, that new day opening gap is definitely something that could trigger a retracement because it is a opposing PD array. But it should also, if it is going to get down to our level here, and we're correct, it should act as a gripping point. I was about to say BPR. That too, right? As it's trading like this, getting below it, when it comes back, it should be able to be treated as a BPR. Yeah, good job, Jen. As always. Top to bottom, my volume balance. Yeah, good job, you guys. Again, guys, if you get value from the content, you like what we do here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We do this every week. There's just a lot to learn, you know. So yeah, this aggressively just repriced against this, so it's not as bearish from this level. So it decided to give us that retracement, which again, we talked about that being a risk because it is an opposing PD array. Now, one thing I can tell you, if this ends up getting above this high, I am right back to looking for our target up here. And that would be supported by the higher time frame, looking to just retrace to then go higher. This is going to be a little bit more high resistance though, if we were to get back up towards that high, because it's already got a stop run. It's got a lot of congestion in here. It's got a lot of bullish price delivery to get beyond, or more. It's got a lot of bearish and bullish price delivery. So we're not inside the macro now, so it's going to be best to wait and see what happens till the next macro. We don't really have anything down in here that started in the macro. We do have that took that out. But this PD array being the new day opening gap, not sure which day it was, but it's from within the last couple weeks. So it's still relevant. So let's see what happens in here. Go to the 5 minute. Do we have anything there? 4 minute. So the 4 minute, look at the 4 minute. It looks like a retracement, right? To then go lower. So we could very easily see that is what is going to take place here. Got a small run higher. If we get back down below this new day opening gap, that could be used as a launching pad to try to get us down to here. Again, this is a bearish order block and a fair value gap. Up candles. Large wick. Yeah, watch this. Let's see if this respects this and we change state of delivery here by breaking down below this. Any revisit back into these up candles can potentially be considered as something to watch. All right, assuming that it does that, we would then look to go lower. But yeah, look at how aggressively it's getting up above there now. So we got to watch this. I'd be waiting for this to turn into a second stage distribution, which basically is going to require it to get up into here. The lines in here, that's a wick. It's just a large, I think it was a 4 minute. Is it a 4 minute wick? Yeah. 5 minute too? I think I'm going to use the 5 minute instead. And so that's a 5 minute wick. Right, accumulation, manipulation, distribution, rebalance, redelivery. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution that broke the low, rebalance, redelivery. You see how this can end up being a trading model for entry? Thinking of the lens of Power 3. You see how that works? Okay, you just got to get good at it. You got to understand it. You got to back test it. Okay, so one thing I do see here of interest to me is this. So we got inversion for value gap after a stop run inside of a PD array. We got this order block that peaked above that, so overtook it, and now we got displacement. So we're getting a double change in state of delivery relative to this time frame. So again, if this thing gets traded above, I'm using that as second stage distribution territory for us to then look to get us up to here. So yeah, shorts for the moment are not trustworthy unless we were to get back down below this. Because if that's the case, then we would look to target the lows. I'd prefer for that to happen. And then if it wants to go up and target the highs again, so be it. But they've already left equal highs up here, which I think they'll revisit at some point. I don't think we're necessarily done, especially with the dollar doing this. It's wicking up into this. Pretty much respecting this like I would have wanted it to. That being the case, you know, these sells may end up being short-lived. This is looking just like a retracement. If we stop in the upper octant there and we can't get to the 25%, then that's showing bullishness, especially if this thing can rally. It just looks pretty aggressive in here into this order block. Go to the weekly chart, it starts to look a little less bearish. We do have SMT at these highs. See what happens though. Oh, okay, nice. So this thing got below. So again, if it can get below this, I would watch that, because then that's going to trigger us to get down to here. I don't like how the dollar's moving lower with the indices. That looks very obvious at these lows now. It gave it a chance to want to provide evidence that it was going to fall in line with correlation, with dollar going lower, these going higher. But yeah, I think this is just too tempting for them, honestly. So yeah, watch this in here. If this low here gets taken out, we also have the balanced price range. But if this low gets taken out, that's accumulation to distribution. So continuation, second stage distribution for the sell side. And this rally up, anything that goes higher to go lower is a sell model. Anything that goes lower to go higher is a buy model. This was a failed buy model. So what happened? It created a sell model. This here, high, low, up to this high. It's now broken down. So if we take this low out, that's a failed buy model to then sell model to target the lows down here. Again, does anybody teach market maker models this way? No, not that I know of. I mean, this is like you're all over the market, like all over it in a good way. Like you're like suffocating it. Whoops. Right, so see what she does. If it takes this high out, we'll now have a mitigation block, low, high, failure swing, break above this high. Any return into that could be seen as support to then target the highs up here. If this breaks down through this, any return into that could be something likely to push us down to here. So in this moment, I'm just waiting. I wouldn't be able to take a trade just yet. I wanted to commit. You know, regardless of which direction it decides to go in, I would have preferred to see it get down to here. But we got to be flexible. Look at what the market looks like. Right? There's no news. So it's ideal to wait for the macro. Right? So be a little bit more risky to try to engage something if it does get up here, comes back down. There's been a lot of reluctance to get up there, right? They've induced it and then dropped it, induced it and then dropped it. So I think that they're still thinking about this up here because it's just so obvious. Look at the equal highs. Is that not like probably the cleanest equal highs on the chart from recent? I think it is. Oh, snap. Yep, there it is. Watch this. high, low, higher high. That's a breaker. You could take this low, high, failure swing, but we have this in here. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. We need sensitivity. If this thing's not sensitive and it breaks down again, they're playing games with the buys. But the dollar is accelerating. I like that to support this idea. I like that to support this idea going up. Look at this wick. We have a wick right above. We've set equal highs here again, so it's even more of a reason for them to get up there. We got the breaker being respected, so that's an entry. And then once it gets above here, you can put your, oh, what the hell just happened? Once it gets up above here, if that is what happens, if an entry's taken in there, that's when I put my stop to break even, because that's a balanced price range. If we get displacement through the wick. It's interesting that they're leaving this low though. You can see this right here. That's a stop run. And then we came all the way down into it. So we may do what is called deferred liquidity, reaching into a high resistance level, given that this is a stop run already. Price may look to want to come back to a short-term high, wipe that out, scoop up retail traders, and then look to slam it lower aggressively, creating another market maker sell model, engineering low resistance from what was previously high resistance. Right? Stop runs like this, when it trades into them, high resistance. Failure swings that price looks to trade back into, low resistance. And what do you know? Another beautiful setup given right to you. So people say that I don't give signals, and maybe they're right. But I get you close, right? Close as I could possibly get you without telling you to take a trade, because you shouldn't take a trade on anything that I tell you to take a trade on, which I don't even tell you to take a trade. You should be studying and then making decisions on your own, because I'm not a financial advisor and this ain't financial advice. Right? Yeah, silent. Me too. Me too. This is how I learned. Okay? Just like this. Sitting with someone that I paid a whole bunch of money to just do this with me and two other people. Like, well, two other people at a time. I can't replace this experience. There's no way. There's no video lecture or anything that I can ever do that would replace this, especially because you can just throw a question out right in the moment. Right? There's just no comparison. You know? Just none. Just like, if there is, I would like to know. But I personally, over the last 7 years, there's no comparison at all. Nothing that's better than this experience. Zero. No lectures. I don't care how many courses these people got. Whatever. There's just nothing better than this. Especially because I know what I'm talking about, right? Because people could come out here and make it look like they know, but they'll quickly be identified as frauds. That's why they don't do it. But yeah, let's see. I tried many things to admit you want to start. That's awesome. See, that again, the things that you've been mentioning today about your experience, Silent, again, it's the reason that I do this. There's just something about being able to do that, to get people to have these perspectives about their trading that, I don't know, it's just really fulfilling and enjoyable for me. More enjoyable than me winning trades. Although winning trades is obviously very fun. But, you know. So again, I hope you guys have had a good time today. Hope you've enjoyed the session so far. Still got about 30 minutes. And then we'll call it a day. Of all the good you're sharing, this funds. Yeah, I know. I be trying to get my family to do it too, but yeah. Yeah, see, look at Maddie. Yo, Maddie, absolutely. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you, Maddie. Good morning, by the way. Yeah, I appreciate you, Maddie. And all of you guys that support the channel. You know, it'd be different if I was just talking to nothing, right? Just to the screen and there was nobody on the other side. It's obviously really nice to know that there's people that can receive this value because it's unbeatable. Nothing like this stuff, really. And the way that it's packaged here, where I'm not rebranding, renaming, and trying to, you know, do this other stupid crap that these people try to do. It's just, it's pure. I'm a purist with ICT. Everything I do is stuff that I've learned from ICT himself, stuff that I've discovered in my back testing, which I've discovered some things that I've heard ICT mention later on that I found before he even talked about it, like the razor model, right? He hasn't even broken it down and said, oh, this is this model or this or that model, whatever. There's no name for it, but he has called it an entry mechanism in passing, right? Like he was talking about something like a review. I think I still have the video where he talked about it and pointed it out. He's like, this is an entry mechanism. I'm like, what? What? Like there's no name? I guess I found something. Like, so it's wild. You'll have those discoveries too. Remember, he has 81 PD arrays. Okay, he hasn't given all of them. So you're bound, if you're studying a lot and you're digging into the charts obsessively, you're bound to find something that he's never talked about that repeats. So you want to be on the lookout for those. It's a little Easter eggs, right? Those little things in video games. Little hidden treasures everywhere, right? And if you look hard enough, you get enough experience, you know, you spend enough time on it, you start getting familiar with things that are really repetitive. And the razor model, the wick model that I teach, it's another thing that I've just discovered that ICT has started to mention a lot about the last 2 years. Yeah, see, Emmanuel, you remember. Do you remember what video it was? I have it saved somewhere, I think. I hope so. I think I put it in the razor model section, actually. Did I? Oh, that sucks. I didn't put it in the razor model section. Damn it. Oh, man. I'm sure if I look through my notes, I'll be able to find it. Let's charter content. I think it was something that he did recently. I think it was this year. I think he has mentioned it in the charter community a couple of times, or in some of the content. Where the heck would I have put it at? I don't know. I'll have to find it later. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'll have to just go look at some of my other notes. But just know that he's mentioned it. So yeah. Yo, shout out Nico. By the way, one of my students. If you go on YouTube, Nico Trades, he's on YouTube too. I think he's still doing live calls. Go follow him. Go follow Harley Trades. It's a student I've worked with for years. Not so much a student anymore. He's his own trader at this point, and I'm super proud of him. So if you like what I do, if you go watch some of his content too, you know, you'll see the parallels. you'll see that great minds definitely do think alike, and you'll see the significant things as well. See, very possible. Interface demo. I'll be watching one of the old videos, and he released one. I'm not sure right there. Yeah, definitely. Gotta be careful when you're studying ICT stuff. Whoa, yeah. So we actually got this to break back to the upside. So now, wait a minute. Let's get the first present. I'm gonna use this bigger one. I'm gonna use this bigger fair value gap here for the first presented. We did have a small one in there, but I like ICT says if it's close like this, first of all, this is part of 630, so it's not the first presented. This is going to be it. But even if there was a small one here after 630, like in 631, it created it. And then there was this bigger one. ICT says every single time you want to use the more pronounced fair value gap. I can tell you right now, if this gets above this, that is going to be extremely sensitive. And I think that would be enough to send us up into here. I would not be very surprised. I am kind of disappointed that I didn't put the video where he talked about my razor model in passing in the razor model section. I don't know why I didn't do that. Where the hell did I put it? I put it somewhere. It's all right. Let me see. You guys got any questions? That's up to 50 for now. Pay close attention now. Yeah, let's see what happens in here with this first presented. It's getting above the accumulation. We have the origin up here, coupled with equal highs. That makes it pretty high probability. We have accumulation, manipulation, distribution. If we can get rebalance once we peak above this high, that'd be nice. We have change in state of delivery here. So that in itself should be sensitive, assuming that this is going to go up. Again, I would have wanted it to get down into here, honestly, when we were down here, but I mean, I'll keep it on the chart. We're back to equilibrium in here from the high to the low. So it could end up hanging around for a little bit. It's probably going to be short-lived hang around, though, because it's on the 1 minute. Well, we'll see what it does here. So if we take that high to that low, so that accumulation, what is that? Oh no. See this accumulation, manipulation. Once we can distribute out. So yeah, look, think about this too. This high, I teach a type 2 dealing range, type 1 dealing range. This high, low, high failure swing. If this gets above this high, that puts this in jeopardy, and then maybe even this. So that'd be a type 2 dealing range. We got accumulation, manipulation, distribution. If we can get above the high, we're not quite at the point of rebalance yet. We do have a change in state of delivery, so that may be the initial trigger. We do have this breaker, low, high, lower, low. I think it really just depends on what the dollar is sincerely going to do right now. If the dollar turns and goes towards these equal highs, this thing is going to continue to reach for our lows down here. But I'm going to need to see this thing break lower. If we can get below this and this reclaimed fair value gap, I'd be a lot more. I'd have a lot more conviction behind the shorts. Yeah, and then the higher time frame. Wait a minute. Damn, I didn't realize that music was... Is the music kind of loud? Has it been loud? I totally didn't even notice. Seems like it was a little bit louder than normal. Hopefully it wasn't distracting. If it was, if it ever is, I encourage you guys to be like, hey, turn that ish down. Like, see the 15-minute did have a nice rejection block at the bottom. Oh yeah, right here. Wait a minute, let me see. Yeah, right there. It's beautiful. We got a 15-minute change in state of delivery too. New day opening gap, new day opening gap. Look, this is a beautiful sign or a visual of the gripping point analogy. If this does end up above these highs up here later on, which I mean, it very well could, right? But if it does end up there and we look at these new day opening gaps, look at how nicely it goes to it, through it, and then back into it, and then up, right? We went to it, through it, and then back above, and it rejected the 50% and rallied. So right here, we have an order block with the new day opening gap. And we got these highs up here. So if it is going to be bullish, it's going to go from here. And if it breaks through into the midpoint of this, then again, it's going to give us more evidence for it to go down to there. That's when we would decide that it's time to go lower. Notice that my fair value gap I pointed out that would trigger me to go short is in line with this. It has time frame alignment from the 15-minute all the way down to the 1-minute chart. Well, 3-minute chart. Yeah, we already got a wick in there. So we're in time distortion at the moment, by the way. So yeah, it seems like you guys got a lot of value from the Sunday call I did the other day, by the way, which I'm happy to hear. Those calls are very deep. So are these calls, right? Like, think about what I'm doing, right? I'm actively, this is something I don't see anyone able to do. Even ICT says it's not something that he is able to do at all and be effective. I'm literally actively teaching you while answering questions, while staying focused on what my objectives are and taking real trades. That is nuts. Okay? Like nobody for surely is doing that. Nobody, including ICT, who's honestly admitted that he can't do it and be effective. I'm doing it and showing you the effectiveness and teaching and answering questions. Again, there's nobody doing it like this, right? It's no question. And it's like heavy hitting stuff that you guys get to learn about. And there's complexities to things that I'm explaining while observing what price is doing and not missing a beat, right? Can't be perfect, obviously, but that's not the goal, right? I think we do a good job, right? I think it's okay, right? Probably better than okay. But I don't know. You guys are the judge of that, right? That's what I think. But hey, who am I, right? So yeah, you see that rejection right there? So it didn't really show a real interest to give us that response to complete the market maker buy model. Yo, I appreciate you, Emmanuel. Appreciate you, brother. With me every day. Emmanuel is with me every day. Trading in the private group since day one. It's amazing. Let me see. Did I miss any questions? I don't think so. Maddie, you're with me too every day. You've been with me for years. Appreciate the long-term support, brother. Let me see. Yeah, I didn't miss any questions. So again, my interest peaks for shorts again if we can get below this. Think about it. Buy side, sell side. What does that make this area in price if it breaks through it? If we got buy side and sell side, what does that make this? Let me know in the chat. See who's been grasping all this stuff. When price goes higher to go lower, if we break this level here, what happens? Okay, yeah, balanced is one thing. Well, what does this turn into? Higher to go lower. And then what is this in particular within that higher to lower movement? So it's a market maker sell model, buy side, sell side, accumulation to distribution. Ironically, we're getting into a level like this that could present us with that going into a macro, 745. We're now in a moment where it's going to have to make a decision within the next 5 minutes. And if I'm being honest, I think given what we see here, the decision is going to be to come down and punch these people in the throat. And then maybe it hits that and then just decides to run back up to the buy side. Or it's going to give up the ghost and really get excited and come and take out the trend line liquidity, because that's what's present right now below this low. So again, not only is this an accumulation to distribution, it's also the inversion for value gap. Let me actually take this off. So let's see what she does. Oh shit. Shook my whole setup, yo. That was nerve-wracking. Okay, let's see what it does. I wish the dollar would have a little bit more like interest to want to go up. It'd make the shorts a lot more reliable. This is a harder to trade environment. We've had 2 consecutive days that are a little bit sketch, but both days we've been able to do something profitable. Yesterday I did it with my private group. You guys could tell the whole world that I'm lying if I'm not telling the truth. I believe we took buys and sells yesterday. I have to go pull it up. And then today, right, we've called out, a couple of different things as well. Talked about a lot of stuff, explained a lot of stuff. Oh my God, second time I did that. But it's been pretty eventful. So hopefully you guys have gotten value. Oh shit. So yeah, I got my attention here. Can actually take that range, break it down into quadrants. Can actually take this range, get a graded price swing. We got equilibrium. 75% is perfectly in alignment with the distribution area. If we can get below it, return into it, and respect the lower 25 to 50% of that accumulated range that we're referencing, and then also stay below that 75%. And I mean, we could say below the inversion for value gap too. All of that should be able to hold us until we get down below these lows. And I wouldn't be surprised if we target these lows and then it stalls, or it's going to break those lows and then melt to get to these equal lows, because those look really obvious too. It looks like it's really in a hurry. Look at the chart. Does that not look like it's in a hurry? Looks like it to me. We're inside the macro, so again, this is a beautiful time for this to give it up and give that to us. We have double targets right there. no. Is there going to be another trade setup that works out? Let's see what happens. Look how gross the S&P is. That is so nasty. The S&P has a heavy impact on what the indices, or on the Nasdaq, like what it's going to do. Look how gross these are today. It's so gross. Wouldn't you agree? Like what we just looked at? That's disgusting. I can't even imagine how many people that are going to DM me saying that they blew their account. It happens every time when the market is low probability. But you'll never have to deal with that problem if you just don't overtrade. Overtrading won't get you there faster. What it will do is ensure that you have the risk of ruin, right? You already have that risk when you get in the market. It's already there. So why amplify it even further by letting the market take advantage of you in that way when you're the only one that can control that? Yes, many, and I was one of them thinking coming better. Yeah. You can't do these things. If you guys want to succeed, we cannot overtrade and over leverage. Okay? Like you can't. You have to set your limit. 20 to 30 points, 2 to 3 trade setups a day. 2 initially, if it's a win and a loss, maybe you get a third trade, depending on your mindset. If you take 1 trade and it's a loss and your mindset's thrown off, you got to take 1 trade a day. You know, that's your threshold. Otherwise, your second trade is highly emotional. And until you get a grasp on that and get control of it, you know, you gotta just live there for a while until you get more confident. All right. See a very lethargic response here. It's looking good. Look at that. It's already 30 points. Already 30 points offered to you if you trusted what was being talked about. Already a little bite-sized 20 to 30 points. If you didn't take a trade at all, if I didn't take a trade at all, that's one that I would have taken. Underneath the framework of a market maker sell model using the market maker model itself and the phases in the market maker model as my entry tactic. Okay. You see how I graded this, right? The accumulation. I did that on purpose to highlight the fact that this is an entry PD array in itself. So if we stay in that lower 25 to 50%, this is something I haven't taught before. Or I think I mentioned it a little bit. But this is why the market maker models are amazing. You can have frameworks to validation and invalidation for narrative to entry model, right? I mean, it's such a well-rounded thing. That's why it's part of the reason why I think ICT has said that if he could pick one thing out of all the stuff he's taught publicly to utilize and throw everything else away, he would use the market maker model. I mean, this is beautiful, is it not? Right? Literally, one of the first things that we looked at today was a market maker model in terms of the sell model. This target I had outlined from the very beginning. Obviously, it danced around in here. We had to be a little flexible, right? Consideration for these highs up here. But we literally called multiple areas in price, pointed out multiple things to watch, right? The breaker in here was the only thing that didn't work out. You know, the other ones that we've called out have worked out, including this one. I probably should have Probably should have did something here. I had a real strong feeling it was going to go lower. We're still gravitating to our main level. It's not showing us at all otherwise. It would have showed us otherwise if we got above this high, but you notice it didn't do that. You notice how this first presented fair value gap, lower 25% and 50% was respected. So this is our smart money reversal PD array or liquidity pool that was used for this market maker sell model, because the smart money reversal happens at a significant PD array. Okay, at all times. Let me see, beautiful shorts again off that first gap. Yep, exactly. Jen said perfect analysis. Damn right, Jen. Yo, that's the vibe here. In my opinion, if it's perfect if it makes sense to you guys, right? If it makes sense and you're able to determine something from it, that's perfect, right? Even if there is some small imperfections here and there at times. But I would have to agree, today's analysis has been absolutely perfect. From when we had to consider the possibility of the other side being traded to, we were already ready for that. So even if it would have went up there, we would have been ready for that too. But it hasn't shown that it wanted to get up there. It tried, failed, tried, failed, tried, failed. And so we just kept pushing it lower, finding opportunities to go lower. You know, qualified. I mean, even this in here, if I was trying to be bullish, it set up the razor model, like I pointed out earlier. I took that trade. Remember I showed the execution? Well, wait. No, it was in here, actually, not in there. It was that one right there. Little run up. You know, if I didn't take any of these trades from earlier, though, you know, this, if I was bullish, could have been engaged up here. That's a breaker. I did point that out. So think about all the stuff I pointed out. I pointed this out today, right in there when it returned to the breaker. That ended up in a loss. Okay, 36 points. Okay. I talked about this, right, from this breaker in here. Talked about that as it was forming. Aiming for the highs, aiming for this to be a buy model. Stop would have went below the 50%. Let me see, we talked about the short. And where is it at? 46. So we talked about the short in there. Okay. That one ran almost 70 points, 68-ish points. And then I called that buy in there for the mitigation block, right? Low, high, failure swing, break above the high. All I needed was a return to that, entered in there. Again, I showed you guys the executions on that. And again, for anyone that may be new, maybe I'll pull this up real quick. Oops, crap. All right, amp live, entry in there. Lost that one at the breaker, I pointed out. I would have taken that trade every single time, every day of the week. All right, given the equal highs up there, every single time I would have taken that. And it's fine that it failed, because you know what? Once we broke through 50%, what did I talk about? This being distribution or accumulation to distribution. Looking to short towards the low, towards these lows over here that we aimed at. I took profit all the way down to low. And then this one in here too, right inside that mitigation block. Price rallied up. We talked about all of this. And then I pointed this one out, right? And then now I also just pointed this out too. So how many trades is that? I called out or hinted at and mentioned, what was that, 5 trade setups? with only one of them that missed. I mean, what's that percentage? 4 out of 5? I don't even know what that percentage is, like 80% or something like that. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's like 80%. Right? 4 out of 5, 20, 40, 60, 80. Yeah, 80% strike rate this morning with profitable setups that ran over 30 points. Look at each trade setup. The smallest one that was given was 42 points. And this one was pretty much even, it was even bigger than the initial one that went 70 points. I think an 80% strike rate with multiple setups being called, with all of them going over the bare minimum that I tell you guys to focus on, with it being extremely clear when we're looking at it, like where I think it's going to go. I mean, I don't know, you guys be the judge, but, and the fact that we do this every week constantly, right? Some days are better than others, obviously. It's just the nature of trading, but I think 80% is a pretty good strike rate if you ask me. And again, it's not just today. I'm doing this every single day with my private group, literally every day. And again, they can come out here and call me out if I'm being a liar, which I'm not. And they're doing well too. You know, like shout out Jen. She's a freaking savage. I can't wait to see what some of you guys are doing by the end of the year. It's just crazy. And then can you imagine 3 years from now? Like it's being accelerated for you guys to know what's important and how to navigate price. So we just got our target fully filled. But yeah, I hope you guys feel that this stuff's accelerating your learning. It's definitely my goal. That's for sure. But I think we've done enough this morning, you guys. Do you have any questions before I let you guys get out of here? Until next time. What is happening? Oh, it's not loading properly. That's weird. I don't know why this thing's having a problem loading. Where is it at? Damn, I don't know where this freaking crap's at. All right, but yeah, so if you guys don't have any questions, again, hopefully you guys got value. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What a spectacular morning of calling trade setups, having clarity in the market, proving navigation and price and foresight, and just being calm, right? We didn't start the session all spun up because we saw it, you know, spaz out. Took a loss, didn't worry about it, went in and then called 4 straight consecutive positive trades. So if I didn't capture this one, I would have caught this one. If I didn't catch this, I would have caught that. If I didn't catch this, I would have caught that. So 5 opportunities in the day within a matter of 1 hour or an hour and a half. Look, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. It's about 2 hours. So 5 trade setups, good profitable trade setups, except one, which was too early. It was not inside the macro that I like to be inside of. It was a little bit before. Timing is everything, you know, but then once the times kick in, boom, boom. This one was outside of it, but boom, right? So 3 out of the 5 were in a macro. And the ones that were in a macro are the ones that offered the bigger moves, right? That tells you something. So yeah. With that being said, again, I appreciate all the love and support. Hopefully you guys got value from today. If you did get value and there's anything in particular that stuck out the most, or maybe you learned a lot from one thing or another, if you feel the need to kind of bring that up and reference it, or maybe just remind me in the chat, I think that'd be a good thing, because then I can kind of see where you guys are at and what I should probably do more of. And any questions that you have, you could leave them in the chat, or you could just hit me up in DMs. Make sure you join my free group as well, because that's where I post a lot of things. And then, of course, I have my private group. If you like what I do here and want to work closer, want to be part of our group and do this with me every day, because we're up every day, rain or shine, sick, healthy, holidays, right? I think I've taken 1 or 2 days off this year. One because I was really sick, and I think the other one was because my electricity went out because they were working on some stuff by my house. Other than that, we're here faithfully every day, right? Doing exactly what you see me do here, talking about the same stuff. So, if that's something you think you could benefit from and you're a serious trader, definitely look into that. I can answer any questions as well. But outside of that, those of you here on YouTube, again, God bless you guys. Appreciate all the love and support. We'll be live again here on Sunday. And yeah, we got crazy, well, not really crazy, but really light news going into tomorrow. It's kind of sucky that this news is actually in PM session, because I'm not going to be here. Maybe I'll throw something out for PM session, possibly. We'll see what happens. But then the rest of the week is, it's probably not going to really do too much unless a tweet comes out, right? Like more bombs drop or whatever. But we'll see. We'll be here for it. And if you guys have any other questions about anything else, I'm more than happy to help. So just let me know. But with that being said, you guys are amazing. Again, thank you for the love and support. We'll be back again live here on Sunday. And yeah, that being said, hopefully you have a good rest of your day, you guys. Let me know if you need anything, okay? Just hit me up in DMs or on my Instagram or in the comments, right? All right. Take care, you guys. Have a good rest of your day.